The best of the morning to you. This is Monday with Friday, preparing you for a better week ahead. I think we're systematically becoming shallower and shallower emotionally, analytically, intellectually, psychologically, and otherwise due to the swiftness of change. Here's what I mean. Before we could fully reckon with the massacre in Buffalo, New York, wherein a racist white young man hunted and killed 10 black people and injured 3 more with an AR-15, we were thrown into Uvalde, Texas, where another white young man left 19 dead, some decapitated, and many others wounded, also with an AR-15. Before folks in the Caribbean could adequately reflect on the debacle of a suspended student in Kingston, Jamaica, assaulting his teacher in the classroom where he ought not to have been, and his teacher's questionably excessive violent response, we were bombarded with the video clip of a brutal slashing and stabbing of a female teenaged student by another female teenage student, both of a high school in Williamsville, Trinidad. The fallout from Brexit is far from settling, and yet we now have to be contending with Putin's assault on Ukraine, which threatens all of Europe. Before we could recover from one tsunami in Asia or one earthquake in Haiti, here comes another. And it is now the hurricane season here in the United States and in the Caribbean, where one hurricane piles upon another before we fully deal with the one before it. In America, in this Trump Republican era, we face a fire hydrant flow of criminal behavior annually, piled upon corrupt behavior monthly, piled upon cheating behavior weekly, piled upon dishonorable behavior daily. Before we could process one matter, be it disturbing or tragic or horrifying, another takes its place. Now, this constant short-circuiting of processing grief, anger, dismay, and trauma, with the severely reduced opportunities to heal from one before we're suffered to face another, is, in my judgment, incrementally making us insensitive to tragedy and inured to violence and human depravity. The brazen dishonesty and corruption of some politicians and national leaders, and the incessant flow of horrific events featuring the wicked lengths to which shooters, stabbers, and backstabbers go to make our societies more unsafe, are leaving us desensitized to horror, while paradoxically traumatized by the constant flow of horror, and inoculated against decisive action to stop the madness. We are becoming, again in my judgment, more accepting of violence, wickedness, depravity, political thievery, and lawlessness as normal. We are mutating into a kind of humanity that greatly disturbs me. Our societies need public counselors to help us address this slow slide to becoming unassuming zombies unmoved by tragedy. That all of this continues amid a deadly pandemic indicates that societies everywhere are traumatized. We may all be suffering with various degrees of post-traumatic stress disorder. I'm afraid that our societies aren't managing this problem adequately or at all. Not governments, not schools, not families, not religious institutions. Whatever any of those are doing is just not enough. So friends, that leaves me and it leaves you. So what do we do? What can we do? Well, we can do something personal and we can do something communal. Personally, we must find ways to slow down, even though the world not only flies past us, but also throws missiles at us incessantly. We must find ways to stay with one thing even while another demands our attention. Yes, we can walk and chew gum at the same time, but we have to find some time at the end of each day to assess how we really feel about life and what is it that prompts those feelings. I think we should lobby our congressmen, senators, members of parliament that our communities need counselors and therapists paid for by the state for people without insurance or who otherwise are unable to afford these services. Our societies are not well. Communally, we might consider gathering some friends and starting a group that talks through the many miseries of life that assail us. If you're blessed to tag someone trained in some version of psychology or stress or crisis management or counseling, get them in. It's a better idea to do this together than alone. Whatever we do, it's time to take back our humanity so that we do not finally become something dangerous to ourselves. And while we're at it, let us go deeper into true spirituality, not the kind that defrauds people, not the kind that hoodwinks people, not the kind that lies to people, not the kind that doesn't admit that we don't have all the answers to people. True spirituality, which looks out for the justice and the good of all, the common good. I am Michael Friday, and your week just got better. I'll see you again next week. Happy Monday, all the way to Friday.